Claire here. Great to have you joining me this morning. And we're sort of closing out a part of the creation story here today. And then we're also starting to tease a little bit towards tomorrow, which will be a launch of our Lenten celebration. So what I want to do today with looking at the seventh day is this talk about this idea of Sabbath and a second simplicity. So I'm going to read it for you and then talk about sort of what this time can be like when we reach the seventh day. Again, God created the world in 7 days. We're talking a metaphor of human development here, and then we reach the Sabbath state, which is day seven. And on the seventh day, God completed the work that he had done, and he rested on the seventh day from all the work that he had done. And God blessed the seventh day and consecrated it because on it he rested from the work that he had done as God in creating it. So the Sabbath is sort of this day of rest. And what does that really mean? Well, I think it's an incredibly beautiful concept and one that I think we probably all need to practice a little more. Notice that it's a seventh of the week. Like it's we are to have this dedicated time towards restfulness. And it's fun to sort of look at it one of two ways. One is like, come to this time. If you're really busy, you need a time of restfulness. And if you find that your restfulness is expanded too much, just remember it's just a seventh, just a seventh, just a seventh. And that's a little bit of a digression. I do love the idea that there's something about Sabbath when you look at it on in terms of its internal sense that's about a second simplicity. The time of Sabbath, we come to sort of the end of a journey where we're built to a certain point. And it's not that the journey ends there. It's just we've sort of reached a certain maturity, I guess, or have parts of our life that have reached a certain maturity. And what we can do is when we've reached those little sort of points of maturity, we can just find rest there. And it doesn't mean that our life doesn't veer off into this worry or that concern or this fear or that little piece of anger. It will, I imagine, will continue to do that as long as we're on this earth. But it means that we've created a little oasis of sorts, or I should say, God's created a little oasis for us, a little Sabbath place in our hearts that we can go back to again and again. And what we find there is a second simplicity. It's been interesting over the years talking to people when I mention to them, oh yeah, you will find a second simplicity. People instantly get it. And that's a Richard Rohr phrase, by the way. They instantly understand what that means when we get a second simplicity. First one being when we're very little. Now we have one where wisdom is connected with love, and it's indeed a beautiful thing. And I was thinking a little bit about it this morning. It's not that I think with second simplicity and Sabbath that all the storms of life go away. They don't. I really want to keep on saying that, and that's why maybe I enjoy Kate Bowler so much. Is like the life just will continue to have challenges again and again and again. It's not what the Sabbath is about. The Sabbath is not about finding peace out there, that all of a sudden all the world is without all its challenges. It's about finding a peace within here, something that's deep within us. And folks, we just think, what's that second simplicity for you? Like what's the part for you where like, yeah, as the older I've gotten really, really, really clear. Like this is what I've got to bring to things in terms of a second simplicity. I know for me, I was thinking about this a little bit, like what would it be for me? And one is, for a second simplicity for me personally, is I've gotten so much more aware of all the things I don't know, that I'm not sure of, that I don't even know how healthy it is to even have an opinion about. And I used to be someone who had opinion about just about everything. And instead just I really enjoy listening to people talk. I really enjoy asking. I mean, to me, the one of the best joys in life is actually putting a good question out there and hearing how people respond. That much more enjoyable to me than holding forth on a particular topic. That's part of a second simplicity for me, and it's brought me a lot of joy. I don't know what it is for you, and it'd be kind of interesting to hear if you want to throw it in the comment. What is a second simplicity for you these days? Like, where have you found life just a lot simpler? And I want to say a second simplicity. I know we have some younger folks who watch this too. Um, it's not a chronological thing. I don't think like you figure lifespan 100, age 50, you get into a second simplicity. No, I think we touch on it all kinds of different times in our life, and I've certainly have known people in their 20s who definitely have elements of a second simplicity. In several cases, far more than a lot of other people I know, which is kind of interesting. So we think of it this way, folks, and then the last thing I want to say on this is this. So with the second simplicity and Sabbath, what's fascinating to close out this part on the story of creation is in the Jewish tradition, Sabbath comes at the end of the week. The Christians come along, and again, they really co-opt the whole Jewish perspective and experience. They take that and they move that to a new place, and it again honor that for our Jewish brothers and sisters. I mean, they are Jewish brothers and sisters, quite literally. And you give these two beautiful faith systems that become the Judeo-Christian heritage that we all share, or most of us share. And the beauty of it, folks, is that the Sabbath then, from a Christian perspective, becomes the beginning of the week, which I love that idea. Like the Jewish Sabbath traditionally been on a Saturday. Christians come along and they say, oh, let's make it Sunday. Let's make it the beginning of the week. I like that, you know? I like that Sabbath, this second simplicity, is yep, it's both from a Jewish perspective, a place where we sort of wrap things up and find rest, and add into that a Christian perspective. It's also a place from which we start our lives, we start living, we start our week, we start it all. And yeah, something deeply beautiful about that. So, folks, that's my thought for today. Again, I want to invite you to our special launch tomorrow. It's not going to be anything like with fireworks or anything, but it is a special launch as we start to look forward towards the Lenten season. We start working towards Easter. And yeah, we're just going to do it very much the same way. I'm just going to have a Lenten reading every day, which is an old Christian tradition. Tomorrow is Ash Wednesday, so that's how we're going to be launching it. And we're going to launch it and we're going to march through it as a way to just try to get ready for Easter. Which in the old Christian tradition was actually far more of a holy holiday than Christmas was, which is kind of interesting. So, folks, that's my thought for the day, friends, on second simplicity. And so, what we're going to do now is we're going to do a little meditation. We're going to do a little prayer, a little blessing. And then, if you would like to leave a comment on New Church Live's Facebook page, I will be checking that in a few minutes and we'll be having a last little conversation. So, with that, friends, let's all get a little breath. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, bring you home. Amen. All right, friends, if you'd like to leave a comment on New Church Live's Facebook page, that would be terrific. And I will be reading those here in a second. And again, you can leave them on the other formats we do, in which case I will be returning your comments there in written form. All right, let's see what people have to say this morning here. Brandon, good morning to you, buddy. Great to have you joining us. Patricia, great to have you with us this morning as well. Linda, good morning to you. And I'm going to get back to you about Easter today. That's on my to-do list. And thank you for offering to work with us on that. That could be a lot of fun. Kim, good morning to you. Marcus, good morning to you, buddy. Gene down in Maryland, great to see you joining us. Sherry, the quarantine through yeah, isn't that interesting? Yeah, that's a great point, Sherry. The quarantine through reprioritizing catapulted a lot of people into a second simplicity. And that's an interesting one, right? Like so much of spiritual stuff. There's those things we choose, and there's very many things that we don't, which is kind of interesting. Susan writes, good morning from southwestern Ohio, with spring has begun to emerge. Yeah, my wife was telling me next week's going to be that out here. Mary writes, second simplicity for me is being held in love and support by my fellows. Unconditional, simple presence with others, both in joy and pain. A hug, holding, and a listening is such good medicine and is free, easy to do, simple. Boy, Mary, that's beautiful. We have a series coming up, folks, too, on simplicity. So I'm going to take some of these ideas because they're really good. Carl writes, second simplicity for me this morning equals if you think you're sick, you will be. If you think you're healthy, you will be. Your mind has strength. Boy, that's a beautiful one. Not at all simple for me, but the best path. Yeah, and that's a beautiful way to put it, Carl. It is. It's a good path. And then Linda writes, simple simplicity equals shifting your thoughts focus and renewing your focus with love. Yeah, and there's a focus there, and it's interesting, right? Like, I don't know. I could go off on that whole idea of focus, right? Because it is a focus, but it's a focus with real soft edges. Like we're focused really narrowly in, like it's all about love, and somehow that creates some soft edges to life too. So thank you, friends, for joining me. And again, tomorrow we start our Lenten stuff. So if you'd like to join us for that, we certainly would love to have you and love to have any friends or family want to join us as well as we get ready for Easter. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.